Welcome to Reinventors Roundtable. This is the place where we, with clear eyes, look at the big challenges facing America and the world out there, and we also try to come up with the big ideas, next generation ideas that could actually truly solve these problems. And this week, in fact, we're definitely going to have a great example of that. The topic is an interesting one. It's about reinventing affordable housing. And this isn't affordable housing as it's classically thought about. So to help us think about how to solve that problem, we've got Brewster Kahle.
We've got a real problem, and it's housing. The problem is both really high prices of housing, but also in unstable prices for housing. 70% of the cost of housing is debt service.
When you're looking at the costs, why is there debt? You can't take your time, let's say in the software example, where nobody is being necessarily hurt if it's taking a long time to develop that software. Whereas in a housing situation, if you're going to move somebody in, you want all the codes addressed, you want a place livable, and that's why you need to have all that money up front right away to make those improvements.
Are we trying to give people a place to live, or are we trying to give people an opportunity to own something? Because housing and home ownership are not the same thing.
Brewster, you want to clarify that a little bit?
What I'm trying to do is find a mechanism of supporting people that want to work in the public sphere. We've got basically two housing classes in the United States. We've got public housing and private housing. I'd suggest that we need a new sector, call it foundation housing. Foundation housing that would be owned by foundations, that would be a form of endowment for the nonprofit sector.
Is the vision that we have for a house, meaning everything has a full kitchen, the full amenities, the space, is that what we want to keep reproducing, be it rental or home ownership?
Are there creative ways that we could channel these big chunks of capital into some innovative ideas that could actually start to solve this demographic problem?
And I think that comes back to the idea of thinking of cities as systems and not focusing just on one thing.
The mortgage industrial complex needs to be reformed to allow and enable things like cohort housing. For example, if you have a cohort living 4 homes next door to each other, not everybody has to have a car necessarily, because you can actually share cars in those homes. The idea is that location matters, proximity to services and goods matters.
Everything in my mind points back to how to utilize existing backyards in high growth neighborhoods.
I think the other trend, given particularly this echo boom generation, is the emphasis on sharing. Could we have more of a dormitory style type of apartment living? Again, for those early stages, as you are getting your career off the ground, before you start making a decision about putting roots in a community.
You kind of have one piece of thread that you're pulling at, which is, the need for housing for folks working in public benefit. If you pull on that thread, it's connected to everything. It's connected to schools, it's connected to energy, transportation. And if we can get conversations going about that bigger scale, I think it could be exciting.
I came into this thinking that we could solve this kind of with a hack in the financial model. Coming away from this conversation, rethinking how mortgages work and how they're structured, even what a house is, I think it's very encouraging to be around so many people that don't feel stuck at all. That we have ideas on moving forward, and they're manageable systems to not only experiment but actually deploy some of these things.